All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our fifth webinar series. Today, our presenter is Mr. Lazarus Sinkala, our renowned chief examiner of English Japan, and the author of Composition and Summary for School Certificate, a book we have been buying so much lately. The topic today is teaching composition involving statistics and figures. As usual, we'll ask you to mute yourself while you are in here so that we give the presenter a chance to present clearly. And then when at the end, we are going to provide you with an opportunity to ask questions or to make contributions. I'm your host, George Kanyama. Stay tuned and welcome aboard. Chief, it's your turn. You can pick it up.
Hello and good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, George. Thank you, host. We're looking at, like George said, I'm Chief Lazarus Sinkala. I hold a BA in education from UNZA, a master's of arts and linguistic science. I'm also an author of the book English Composition and Summary for School Certificate, whose basis we're going to have the discussion today. And I've authored a number of articles in the international journals. We are going to look at, let me remove this thing. We are going to look at writing using figures. Then we look at guidelines on the forms the numbers take. And we look at interpreting numbers presented in diagrams. And then we conclude the writing using figures. Okay, writing using figures. In composition writing, some numbers are written out in words while others are expressed in figures. Numbers expressed in figures are called numerals. Sometimes in guided compositions, learners may be presented with figures or numerals instead of the obvious notes or points. Usually in composition testing, you would give the points in note form and you ask the learners or those that are writing the exams, the candidates, you ask them to write some continuous piece of writing out of those notes. And those are quite obvious. But many times, especially lately, we've seen where questions, situational composition come and there are figures, there are statistics, and some people have even termed these compositions as statistical compositions. It's not statistical composition, it's just composition, except it involves figures. So at the end of it all, they are expected to read or interpret the information that is presented to them. The challenge usually is that learners fail to consistently write these figures correctly and accordingly. We need to bear in mind that in composition writing, what matters is the linguistic ability in the usage of language. We are teaching and testing our learners to handle language in a given context. In this case, composition involving figures or statistics. Therefore, it is not necessary the correctness of the mathematics involved or the validity of the interpretation. Rather, it is the correctness of the writing. I must emphasize that point. Lately, we've received a lot of mixed feelings about compositions involving figures, where people have asked what exactly is the learners supposed to do. It's very simple. The learners are supposed to write a composition, a continuous piece of writing. Okay? Now, interpreting the figures that are given, since the testing here is not necessarily mathematics, we are not looking at the mathematics involved to be precise. No, we want to know whether learners know how to write the figures in words. So, do our learners know how to write numerals in composition correctly? Are they able to read or interpret figures when given in terms of a table, diagram, or statistics? Let's look at the guidelines on the forms numbers take in compositions. In composition writing, some numbers are written out in words, while others are expressed as figures. Again, here I must emphasize, and these are things we need to impart in our learners. In composition writing, not all numbers are written as figures. Others are supposed to be written in words. And that is what is cardinal when it comes to composition writing involving figures, whether it be statistics, diagrams. It is the linguistic ability. Are they able to write accordingly? Let's begin by looking at the cardinal numbers. Numbers below 100 are written in words, that is from 0 to 99. For example, there are 30. That 30 is written in figures. There are 30 pupils in my classroom. That is wrong. Okay, so in a composition, if somebody writes that, that becomes wrong. Instead, it's supposed to be the word 30 as it is expressed here. There are 30 pupils in my classroom. For numbers over 99 with two words, as in 21, 22, use a hyphen to keep the two words together. So learners, again, we need to teach them that even when they write correctly in words, in a figure, they write it in words. Those that have combined with two words, you use a hyphen. For cardinal numbers over 100 and 100 itself, these may be preserved as numerals or written as words. For example, the boy from Chipata caught 115 cats. That is correct. Equally, the boy from Chipata caught 115 rats as digits. That is also correct. If the number comes at the beginning of the sentence, write out the number. For example, 120, which is 120 people gathered outside the chief's palace. 115 people were hanged by the dictator. For cardinal numbers involving thousands, these may be written in words or preserved as numbers. For example, I have hanged 1,500 people, or I have hanged 1,500 people. Both are correct. When writing figures involving thousands, a space is used to separate the thousands if there are 5 or more digits and the numbers are grouped in hundreds. For example, 1 space 000 or 1 comma 000. 10 space 000 or 10 comma space 000. 1 space 000 space 000 or 1 comma space 000 comma space 000. They need to know, the learners need to know how to write these. Numeric values. Numeric values above 1 million may be written in half numeric or half word form, or you may write the word. Example, 1 as a digit, million people, or 1 as a word, million people. K 100 million or 100 million kwacha. The same goes for 200 billion or 200 billion kwacha. How do we read numbers? Firstly, numbers composed of 4 or more figures are divided into groups of 3. For example, 1, comma, dash, 000, that's 1,000. 1, comma, space, 100, that's 1,100. Get this one. 3, comma, space 462, comma, space 714. 3,462,714. Note that when writing in words or reading a number composed of 3 or more figures, we place and before the figure denoting tens. That's why we have and 14. Ordinal numbers. Ordinal numbers are often written in abbreviated form. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. The abbreviation is used, the TH is used after all numbers except those ending in 1, 2, or 3. Both placements of the abbreviation are correct. So we need to teach our learners that they need to know that both are correct. It can either go right on the line, the way first and second are written, or they can be stooped slightly up there, the way third, fourth, and fifth are written. Both are correct. Let's look at percentages. How are percentages written? Numbers with percentages may be preserved, or you may write the word. For example, in my class, 31% of the boys go to church, or 31% of the boys in my class go to church. The word percent is 2 words and not 1 according to the British spelling. So again, these are things that people would look out for when testing whether the learners know how to write this or not. In fact, I must confess, even as teachers, most of us, we tend to forget and write percent as 1 word. If a percentage begins in a sentence, it should be spelled out. Example, 50 and 1/2% of the girls scored distinctions in the English examination. Yes. Yes should be written in numbers. For example, 1964. So 2010. So you cannot say, all right, rather, I last saw my niece in 2006. And these are the common errors that we find in composition marking, where instead of writing 2006, somebody writes 2006 in words. Right, we move on. What about the fractions? Fractions should be written out in numeric form unless they appear at the beginning of the sentence. Example, the boy shared 1/3 of his cake among his friends. 1/3 of the boy's cake was shared among his friends. Time. We use numerals to express precise time. For duration, we use words. Please, let's understand this and impart it in our learners. We use numerals to express the precise time. As for duration, we use words. Example, okay? We spent 3 hours on the road. That is wrong. It's supposed to be, we spent 3, written in words, hours on the road. For the actual time, we use a dot to separate the hours from the minutes. This has been a center of controversy lately in the conferences. It is wrong to write, it is 10 full colony 45 hours. That is wrong. Instead, it's supposed to be, it is 10 dot, or rather full stop, for 5 hours. I think the Mongo conference, the 2016 Mongo conference, I elaborated on this one. 10 full colony, 10 full colony 45 is wrong because it came with the advent of digital watches, okay? And people got carried away and started writing as such. Now, in terms of language, sorry, host, I need to elaborate on this one. If in terms of language, mind you, mathematics is also a language. Mathematicians will attest to it. If you wrote 10 full colony 45, okay, in terms of language, that would read 10 to 45. So that already makes it wrong. Do not write the word hours as HRS. That's an abbreviation and it's not acceptable in composition writing. So do not write 21.13 HRS. That is wrong. It's supposed to be 21.15 hours. We write the time in words when it is followed by o'clock. You say, Elena woke up at 6 o'clock. That is wrong. Instead, you write the word 6, not the digit. Elena woke up at 6 o'clock. About the date. This can take up many forms. The most common is the date, the month, and the year. As in 21st March, 2021. 22nd March, 2021. 23rd March, 2021. If you begin with the month, you do away with the abbreviation. Okay? Jane got married on March 21, 2021. You don't say Jane got married on March 21st, 2021. So that's about cardinal and ordinal numbers. So let's now move on to the interpretation of numbers presented in diagrams. If we teach these things and our learners know Let's look at interpretation. How does one interpret them when they are presented in diagrams, such as timetables, the bar graphs, the pie charts, and tables of statistics? That's a timetable. In an event, a question comes in this form. That's a bar graph. The question can come in form of a bar graph. That's a pie chart. A question can come in form of a pie chart. And the tables of statistics. In order to write about tables and diagrams, a learner needs to read or interpret the information that is presented. Only then can one explain the information clearly. To help interpret the information presented, one must ask the right questions, which will provide the right answers and give the needed information in that piece of writing, be it an article or a report. What are these right questions? One must always answer the WH questions. That is, what, why, which, and how. When it comes to report writing, we tell the learners to answer these questions so that they have a comprehensive report at the end of the day. In the same vein, the teacher can guide the learners on how to come up with questions which would provide the best information for their piece of writing. Let's take an example from a question, an exam-based question on statistical information. Procedure. When you are given a statistical data and a question, it is important that you read the instructions carefully, study the figures carefully, identify the trends in the statistics information, write down as many points as you can from the statistics. Arrange all the points in an orderly manner. Write out the composition by fully amplifying or expanding each and every point and making it interesting. Let's look at hands-on, an exam-based question. As the head boy or head girl of your school, you have been assigned to educate your fellow learners on road traffic accidents. You have obtained the table below from the Zambia Police Traffic Department to write an article for the school magazine. Using the information from the table, write the article. The length of the article should be between 250 and 350 words. Any words written beyond the word limit will not be considered as part of your composition. This was a question for ECZ October exam 2015, and that's the table. Okay, that's the table that was presented. How should we go about responding to such a question? We know that the table contains so many figures that you cannot be expected to use them all. Use as many as you can, but within the word limit, 250 to 350 words. In the answer, write all the numbers in words, not figures. To explain the information clearly, read or interpret the information that is presented. to interpret the information, ask the right questions, remember, which will provide the right answers, and give the needed information in that piece of writing, whether it's an article or a report. So answer the WH questions and come up with questions that would provide the best information. Questions such as, what was the total number of recorded accidents? How many cars were involved? Why were there more car accidents than any other? How many bicycles? How many different kinds? What was the most frequent cause of road accidents? What was the second most important cause of road accidents? What was the least cause? How many inexperienced car drivers? How many accidents involved the lorry? What could have caused this? You know, we need to teach our learners to come up with such deliberate questions in order to answer and respond to the statistics that are presented in form of a question. And having come up with these questions, one could mentally arrange the groups of points in the most suitable order for your particular subject matter, reader, or purpose. Since each paragraph deals with a different aspect of the topic, it will usually form the basis of a new paragraph in a composition. One should write in such a way that each paragraph follows naturally from the one before and leads naturally to the one after. Chronology is important even in this type of writing. Once you have decided on the suitable order for your groups or of points, write against each group the paragraph number it should take. Then decide if a special introduction or conclusion is needed. As can be seen, some phrases when responding to such questions, there are some phrases that can be used when referring to a diagram, a chart, or a table of statistics. So there are some phrases that can be used. Phrases such as can be seen from or in the chart, diagram, table, or graph. According to, as shown in, okay, it can be seen from the chart, from the table, okay? If you are describing change, some phrases that can be used are phrases such as, there was a very minimal, you know, that kind of phrasing. Comparing, in relation to, okay, twice, 3 times as a high, okay, in relation to half, double, treble, compared with, okay. So that's all. We should always remember that we are teaching and testing our learners to handle language in a given context. In this case, compositions involving figures or statistics. I repeat, we should remember that we are not teaching mathematics, we are teaching continuous writing. So it is not the correct interpretation, mathematical interpretation, mathematical accuracy that we are looking for. Rather, we are looking at the linguistic ability. Are the learners able to read these figures and write them accordingly? So it's the correctness of the writing that we desire to see. And indeed, if we are equipped with this knowledge, coupled with a well-planned lesson, teaching composition presented with figures or numerals will always leave you ever smiling and smiling. All this can be found in Sinclair Lazaro 2019 English Composition and Summary for School Certificate, page 103 to 108. Thank you very much. George, I'm done.
Thank you, Chief.
We will now invite questions and contributions from members. Anyone who wants to contribute or to ask a question, you can unmute yourself or raise your hand, then we'll be able to point at you so that you can make your comment, ask your question, or make a contribution. Okay, Dr. Monde, you can go ahead and make a comment or contribution.
I'm grateful for the coordinator, the host. Really, this is a topic of the season. How I wish the whole country was here to see how we can be able to follow such type of lessons. May I just encourage the presenter to keep the same spirit as we save our country. For now, my leader, this is my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Doc.
Doc has spoken.
His hand again. Okay. Anyone else who would like to make a comment or ask a question? Any question or comments? Oh, people are not willing to talk today. It means, Chief, your presentation was very, very clear.
Oh, it's a two-way thing. It could mean that. It could also mean the presentation was something obvious that people already know.
Okay.
I don't think so, Chief. I'm saying I don't think so, Chief. You see, when a meal is well cooked, you just look at people the way they are nodding their heads. I can't lie on this one, Chief. You have done justice. Of course, I'd late to join, but I found you were very busy and expounding exactly what we need as teachers of language, English languages.
Mr. Nyumbu, how are you?
There's a hand. Ket Musukwa, you can go ahead. After that, we'll have Judge Senga. Ket Musukwa, please go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Kate.
Yes, I think afternoon. I think I joined in quite early. I think I do agree with Doc. Chief, I think the truth is the lesson has been ably presented and it's loud and clear. For some of us, yes. I think for me, this should be the 5th time I'm listening to that presentation, but today it's been done differently, and I think job well done. It's loud and clear. There's nothing to add, nothing to remove. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Raketi. There was Judge Senga. Now I can't see that person anymore. But Jen Mapiki, please go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Yes,
Good afternoon.
I simply wanted also to acknowledge, thank you so much for the presentation. It was wonderful. but I wanted to find out where can we find the book?
Where
Is
are
it?
Where are you based?
I'm in Lusaka.
Okay.
Yes.
The Lusaka agents, I'm sure they are here. There are 4 agents in Lusaka.
Okay.
The problem with you, Lusaka people, you just want to book well, then the gray matter. There are 4 agents. After this, you can inbox me. I give you their contacts.
Okay.
I don't know if you have my number.
No, please. You can give me your
It's there.
number.
It's showing on the screen. The 0977.
Okay.
0977 671 556.
671.
556.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Just inbox me after this presentation, then I'll give you the contact number.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Jay Sangam, I can see you had the hand up. Please go ahead.
Yes, Chief, I just wanted to comment on is it Dr. Monde's comment? He already responded to the presenter when he said it is a two-way thing. Otherwise, I wanted to say we really appreciate the message and the information that has been presented. This is the information that we need. And if we have a common understanding on how to go about certain aspects in our language teaching, at least it would also improve our output out there, because we have a common understanding. When the questions are asked, there would be no areas to which part country people have not understood. So I wish we could all be here, we could all have the same platform, so that we have a common ground from which we can examine our learners. Thank you very much to the.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else? If you can't raise your hand, just unmute yourself and speak. We can still accommodate you. Anybody else? Ruth Mabeta. Ruth Mabeta. Okay. All right. So I guess that's it. Would like to thank you, First Chief, for the presentation, and I would like to thank everyone involved in organizing this particular webinar series. And mostly, I would like to thank all of you who made your time to join and participate in this webinar. This is for all teachers of language. Please invite your friends. If they are not yet aware, let's share the links and help everyone to get on board. Next week, tentatively, our presentation will be on methods and methods and all things our topic for next week. And so thank you all for your time. God bless you, and see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Please, I'm open on my line. Those who want to contact me, you can go ahead and contact me.
Thank you, Chief, for do that.
Okay. Mr. Nyumbu, how are you?
Thank you so much. Good night.
Good evening, you.
Mr. Lazarus in Kala.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
How
I'm fine. How are you?
fine, thank you. This is Mr. Sakara from Petauke Boarding Secondary School.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. And how are you, my boy?
Are you utilizing the book?
For sure, my brother.
Okay.
I when we just published it.
Uh-huh.
From Madam Mkontia, you know.
Okay, yeah, I do.
Madam Mkontia, I bought it. So,
Mr. Nyumbu, do you have the book? Mr. Nyumbu. People exit you. The meeting is over.
Okay.
Who is that? Is that Mutinta? Who is that?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Call me after the presentation.